So today, a major announcement was made. I want to address what was actually said, but I also want to talk about how we have just 24 days before the entire US economy could completely collapse. And guess what? The Biden administration is not doing much about it. Now, we will go over what is going to happen in just 24 days. And no, it has nothing to do with the 20 plus days of diesel that our country currently has on hand. It is a completely different issue. Now, we're going to address that. We're also going to address the big announcement that President Biden made. It was a major announcement. Or at least that's what the administration led us to believe. Now, this is regarding inflation and how the Biden administration plans to provide for the American people. And I can tell you right now, this announcement is making more people mad than is actually making them happy. I will address this news after we talk about the complete economic collapse. So let's begin. So in just 24 days, the entire US economy could come to a complete standstill. And this is due to the fact that on November 19th, which is in 24 days, the railroad unions could legally go on strike. Now, something happened today that completely changes the course of this potential strike, because what we have known is that it's possible we go on strike, but it was not probable. Now, it is more probable than possible. So, here's what I can tell you. For the past week, we have heard that most railroad unions wanted to accept the tentative agreement that was actually put forth by the railroads and the Presidential Emergency Board. However, today, the second union decided to vote against ratifying this agreement. This includes a group of about 6,000 workers. This is the union, this was the Brotherhood of Railroad Signalmen. That was the union that rejected this agreement. This means that both them and the Brotherhood of Maintenance of Way employees have both rejected this agreement. That's not good, because all 12 unions need to independently accept the deal in order to avoid a strike. As of right now, 2 have rejected, 6 have accepted. That still means there is 4 more that it really doesn't matter what they decide, but chances are we're either going to go to a strike or we have to at least go back to the negotiation table. That's the first thing. Now, here's what I can tell you, okay? And this is big. What I can tell you is that according to the chief negotiations officer, he said, we're going to go back to the table and we are going to talk to them. Talk to the railroads about increased paid sick days, because our members have made it very clear to us that the lack of paid sick days is a very significant issue for them. Now, I just want to touch on this very quickly because this is something that we've been hearing for some time. It is about paid sick days. It is about the quality of life. It is about not having restrictions as to which day you can take off or which hours you can take off. That's the big issue. Now, we could see railroads decide to go on strike. And if they do, just want to be very clear on this, Congress could eventually step in and they could make the unions accept the deal. However, it's not Congress's job to do that. Congress could, but they don't want to. Now, according to the White House press secretary, she said today, it is the responsibility of the parties involved to resolve this issue, and any idea that thinking this is kicking this to Congress will result in a quick or favorable outcome is deeply misguided. These unions' rejection of the current proposed contract does not mean we face an immediate rail shutdown. That's not how we view it. But it does mean the unions and their employers have additional work to do. Here's what I can tell you. Over the next 3+ weeks, these negotiations are going to become even more real. A strike is on the line. Now, a strike is on the line now, but in like 2 weeks, we have the election. Okay? Democrats are not going to come out and push, and Congress is going to want to come and push to get a deal done now, simply because it can hurt them during the election. But in 3+ weeks, they could come out and be like, you know what? You need to accept the deal. You have to accept the deal. But just understand, if a strike occurs, the U.S. economy will see major supply chain issues, and experts say we have never seen these before. Never seen them before. This includes over the past 2 years. And here's the reason why. We're already seeing there's a little bit of a worker shortage. Now workers are coming back, but we still have a shortage. We are still seeing supply chain disruptions, okay, regarding shipping. Fuel costs is a major factor, but then you factor in just those two things. I'm not even to go into what's going on in other countries, because obviously it matters. But you got those two things. You got a potential issue on the Mississippi River, right? You got a railroad strike, and you add all that stuff together, it's a complete collapse of the U.S. economy. Some experts say to the tune of about $2 billion a day. However, some are now saying it could actually be higher than $2 billion. So this is a major problem, but I will keep you updated as soon as we get any more information. But now let's talk about President Biden's big announcement. It's a major announcement is what everybody was saying, or at least that's what he made us feel like it was a major announcement. But this is what President Biden said today. He said, "Today, my administration is announcing new actions to lower the cost of everyday living for American families, to put more money in the pockets of middle income and working class Americans, to hold big corporations accountable." Okay, that sounds decent, sounds pretty good. Well, how exactly does he plan to do this? Because I can tell you right now, lowering the cost of to everyday American families, this sounds really good, right? This is great. Putting more money into the pockets of middle-income Americans, this sounds really good as well. But here's the plan as of right now. President Biden's plan, and again, this is just his plan. He wants to attack junk fees. Okay, he wants to combat junk fees. That's what he wants to do. Now, what does this mean? These are things like banking fees, right? Hidden charges for things like your cable bill or your phone bill. He wants to eliminate hidden charges on airline tickets and hotel bookings, including eliminating cancellation and change fees. That sounds great, right? That sounds really good. Well, this is what President Biden had to say. One of the things that I think frustrates the American people is they know the world is in a bit of disarray. They know that Putin's war has imposed an awful lot of strains on Europe and the rest of the world and the United States. Everything from him blocking grain shipments and oil. And they want to know, what are we doing? And there's a lot going on that we're doing, and it adds up. He also went on to add, and I quote, "Each year, these junk fees cost Americans tens of billions of dollars, weighing down family budgets and making it hard for people to pay their bills." Now, and I want your intake on this. I want your input. And please give me your input down in the comment section below. But this is why many people are more upset than happy about this big announcement. Now, obviously this announcement just came out today, so I had to go over to Twitter, I had to go over to Reddit, and here's what I found. The average lower income and middle income households, they aren't really worried about these hidden fees in hotel and airline reservations because, well, guess what? They can't afford them anyway. They aren't going places. They're not traveling. They're not staying in a hotel. They're just trying to keep their own home. They're not worried about the hotel charging them a fee for, a cleaning fee, or they can't find the wash rag, right? They're not worried about that. Also, many are not worried about the hidden cost behind a cable bill because many can't compare the hidden cost of a cable bill to what Americans are paying in excess for food and energy costs. But again, as many lower income households have said in the past 2 years, why can't we find a solution to provide affordable housing? This would do much more than a $1,400 stimulus check. That's a quote from Twitter itself. Okay? Somebody actually says, why can't we do more for affordable housing? Because that would have done more than a $1,400 stimulus check. And I think they're right. Now, I'm just curious what your thoughts are on this. Do you think addressing junk fees is the right strategy? Do you think this is just another political game that the Biden administration is playing 2 weeks before the votes are counted? I'm just curious. Let me know down in the comment section below. But that is what we know at this time. Again, President Biden thought it was a major announcement. However, many people are calling this a major fail. So we will see what happens moving forward. But as always, as I know more, I promise I'll come back on and share all the latest news and updates. Again, so I want to thank you guys for watching. Have a wonderful rest of your day. Consider subscribing, and I'll see you guys on the next one.